Okay, I know. Keanu Reeves is a good person, perhaps the best person in Hollywood in terms of morality score. But remind us that this channel focuses on acting skill and acting skill only, and I strive to be as ruthless as possible in reviewing your favorite stars. Things like personality, how pretty their faces are, how much they donate to charity is irrelevant to this channel and won't add extra points.
That's right, we hold no mercy. If you can't act it, you're doomed to be roasted here.
So today, let's take out our magnifying glasses and scrutinize Keanu Reeves' acting. Is he a cinematic legend, or a prime example of terrible acting in Hollywood? Alright, so Keanu Reeves is sort of infamous for his signature bland wooden acting. So much so that he has been the most criticized Hollywood actor of our era and has been repeatedly nominated for the Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Actor.
Some jokingly summarize his acting face in one phrase:
facial paralysis style acting. So with this expectation set in mind, I began my research. By research, I mean just chilling at home and binging all the stuff he's acted in. And I have come to a conclusion. While I don't think the criticism is ungrounded, I don't think he's a terrible actor with no redeemable qualities. So before we delve into his acting flaws, I'd like to first talk about the highlights of his performance. The things that he does well, and these essentially come down to three things. Vibe, action scenes, and effort. First, vibe.
He's got this natural melancholy and soothing gentleness that is quite rare to find in Hollywood.
Hollywood in general struggles to deliver melancholy well. Many actors just default to a constipated face.
Then ask me the most basic question. What do we eat?
My entire performance is based on having extreme discomfort having contact lenses in your eyes, just kind of like that the entire time.
Just a side note here, I do think that over the years, Robert Pattinson has improved quite a bit, which I will talk about in a later video. Anyways, Keanu, on the other hand, is well known for always exuding a sad, gloomy vibe, so much so that it became several internet memes. This gives him the ability to effortlessly portray melancholy on screen. His naturally blank, wooden face actually plays in favor for him in these type of roles. Another element of his aura is this mild gentleness that almost feels refreshing in Hollywood. Even with supposedly gritty characters like John Wick, he gives off a sensitive and hurting vibe. For the longest time, Hollywood was dominated by the hyper macho tough guy trend, and Keanu was often criticized for being too soft and his acting thus ineffectual. However, in recent years, the trend has turned against toxic masculinity, and audiences have come to appreciate Keanu's acting more. For example, in The Devil's Advocate, some criticized his mild acting, which felt completely overshadowed by his co-star, Al Pacino. But with hindsight, I would argue that his mild demeanor acted as the perfect balancer that mitigated the intenseness of Al Pacino's role. Similarly, his characters in Speed and The Matrix showcased a softer side, a departure from the archetypal aggressive macho.
While others were playing it tough, he was playing it elegant.
Speaking of these action movies, let's move on to the next point, action scenes. This is an area where Keanu absolutely shines. His combat sequences are fluid, powerful, and carried out with an effortless expertise. Whether it's kung fu or samurai blade fighting, he's mastered it all. He's undeniably a standout in the realm of Hollywood action actors. One can clearly see the immense dedication behind the scenes. For example, before shooting The Matrix, he trained relentlessly day and night, enduring several injuries, which leads to my next point. Effort. People have criticized his acting skills left to right, but rarely do people have a problem with his attitude.
Keanu has a reputation for working hard.
Even in trash films widely criticized by the public, he always put forth his best effort. He never phoned it in or did things half-heartedly. You can question his innate talent, but no one can deny his dedication.
Personally, I always have a soft spot for people who try, regardless of the outcome.
So I'll give him scores for effort alone. Okay, now combining the three strengths together, one can clearly tell the niche he's suited for, a grim, melancholic action hero. So no wonder his best works are things like The Matrix, John Wick, and Constantine. My personal favorite is Constantine, by the way. That role is just tailor-made for him. Alright, we've had our share of compliments.
Let's move on to what you're here for, the criticism.
Overall, I feel that his acting flaws can be summarized in two key aspects. That is, a lack of emotional range and a lack of believability. The first point is quite obvious. His strength lies in placid expressions, like his signature no-emotion face, the naturally confused face, and the slightly dopey face. Aside from these, he generally struggles with displaying other types of emotions. Now, I know some of you may say, oh, but I've seen him successfully pulling off an angry look or a sorrow face in such and such shows.
Well, the problem is that such performances have not been consistent.
It's a hit or miss. Even within the same film, you can see this inconsistency, showing that he hasn't truly mastered the art of expressing emotions. The result is that when he needs to emote, he either struggles to get into the right mood or forcibly pushes himself, leading to a display that's either lacking or overly dramatic, with the former more frequent than the latter. Let's see some examples of when his acting feels too passive. Number 1. Feeling Minnesota. Now, the plot itself is a piece of crap, which kind of already sets the film up for failure, and the acting only makes it worse. So Keanu played the main guy who falls in love with his brother's fiancée, and no, not because he's immoral, but because she was forced to the engagement and yada yada yada. So he's kind of that savior guy. They get together and decide to run away with some stolen money, and of course they get chased. Things then go out of hand. So overall, it's a pretty crazy plot filled with tension and chaos. However, Keanu's acting lacks the emotional dynamism expected from a character embroiled in such tumultuous events. He acts like an outsider, a bland observer who just watches everything unfold and be like, alright, cool. For example, at his brother's wedding, their mom passed away due to a sudden heart attack, and that's his reaction, as if it were just some stranger who died. Later on, when the couple realized they've got no money to spend while fleeing, he tried to steal money from his brother and unfortunately got caught. When his brother unexpectedly gets him from the back, his face looks like this. Not a single shred of shock or fear or uneasiness. He looked like he just saw a fly in his sandwich and is slightly disturbed or something. And this wooden acting results in a severe lack of chemistry between him and the co-actress. For example, when he first had a conversation with the girl, there is no indication whatsoever on his face that he was drawn to her. It's like she was hitting on a piece of rock. Then after they kissed and she opened herself up to him, he still looks emotionally detached.
I mean, this is supposed to be the big moment of their star-crossed romance. You need more than that, all right?
Later on, she confessed to him, and he's like, no, we can't be doing this, blah, 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 with an extremely distant face. Now, I know he's playing cool on purpose to drive away the girl, but he should have shown some degree of regret and helplessness, conveying a sense of unattainable love. It's not that he doesn't love her, it's reality keeping them apart. We get none of that, and instead, we get this aloof, flat-out cold face, as if he's purely just annoyed and disgusted by the girl. This kind of wooden acting is prevalent throughout the film. I think one Rotten Tomato critic summarized the essence of this performance well, bland to the taste. Alright, so the second example we have is the infamous The Day the Earth Stood Still. In short, Keanu plays an alien who starts off tough and cold, then gradually understands human emotions. Now, this time people have mixed feedback regarding his performance. Some argue that ironically his flat face, robotic-like movement, and emotionless demeanor actually make him look a lot like a legit alien, so it works for this role. Well, not really. First, he lacks the intimidating vibe at the start, and as the plot progresses, he's supposed to show the transformation of him beginning to feel human emotions, but I don't see that transformation. He maintains the same blank face for the entire 2 freaking hours.
Look, the movie is called The Earth Stood Still, not Your Face Stood Still, okay?
While his stiff face is bad enough, it's even more cringeworthy when he overacts. Some examples include the notorious Johnny Mnemonic and Knock Knock. Both movies are typical popular bad movies with bizarrely terrible plot and punchlines, which already tells how unreliable production was. Under the director's questionable guidance, Keanu's acting turned so ridiculous that it is laughable.
I got you a car! I brought you your clothes here! It was free pizza! I let you in! I was a good guy! I'm a good father! I want room service!
Want to get online? I need a computer.
Alright, so moving on to our second point, a lack of believability. What this means is that occasionally I see him being able to pull off certain feelings, but they lack depth, they lack layers, making us question whether he truly understands the character. This is present in almost all his negatively received films, and for the sake of time, we will just show one example. Much Ado About Nothing. This film was adapted from Shakespeare literature, and as we all know, Shakespeare characters are complex. Keanu played Don John, a sly, sneaky, cunning villain. So right off the bat, this sounds like a miscast, which it was. While Keanu was able to show moments of his role getting triggered or looking sullen, he didn't capture the cunning and malice of Don John. The key moment of his role is when he schemes to destroy the romance between the protagonists. But his delivery when conspiring with his servers lacked the sinister wickedness demanded by the scene. He acts like a naughty school boy planning a harmless prank. Well, maybe it's just too hard for Keanu to play evil because he's too kind of a person in real life. It's just not in his DNA, you know? Conclusion. With this much being said, my overall conclusion is that Keanu is a limited actor who excels at specific niches while struggling with roles outside of his comfort zone. What this entails is that if Keanu plays the grim, emotionally drained or slightly confused action movie hero, I'd be down to see it in cinema every time. but if he ventures to play emotionally challenging characters, I'd probably let it slide. So that's my hopefully objective enough analysis. Do you agree or not agree with the points in this video? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.